What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. This is Constant Sports. I am your host, Constance. So we're gonna recap this weekend of basketball, which I think we had a lot of very good, evenly matched teams to see how they came out. And we talked on Friday about the upcoming games that were going to be happening on Saturday, and then we had Sun Liberty and the Aces versus the Sparks for the second time. Start off with the Sun and the Liberty. My last video, I said how the Liberty had to improve on their defense. The offense, they have. But the defense was definitely something they had been struggling with the first few games that they had played already. And they showed that in this game against Connecticut. Because we all know Connecticut is a hard fought team. They're a very physical team, and you have to be willing to also be physical with them. And that's what New York did. They were physical, they played great defense, they got a lot of long rebounds, and that definitely helped them win this game. Um, Connecticut was still Connecticut. It was just that they did have quite a few turnovers because of New York's defense and how they were pressuring the ball. Connecticut had 17 rebounds and New York had 13, but it was what they did with the points off of the turnovers that definitely put them over that ledge, and the offensive rebounds from the missed shots also helped them as well. So New York looked like a complete team on Saturday. I hope that what they learn from that game, they take on for the rest of the season. If they do what they did on Saturday, they will definitely be competitors in this league. Um, so hopefully they learn from it. I think Connecticut would also learn from it, playing up against another team who was willing to be physical with them, and they'll just continue their streak. This is their first win, so they're 3-1. So I think that they'll be fine with New York now being 2-1. Our next game that happened on Saturday was obviously the Las Vegas Aces versus the LA Sparks, which was also the Aces ring ceremony for their championship last year. The players got the rings, coaches. Derek Hammy was there, so she was also able to get her ring as well. From the game from a couple days prior that the Vegas and the Sparks played compared to the one that they did on Saturday were two totally different games. The Sparks played the Aces so much better in that first game compared to this one. This game, the Aces pretty much blew them out. From the start of the game, the Aces was in control. There was no issues. Right now, I know it's only been 3 games, 4 games into the season, but the Aces are averaging 95 points a game. If that continues, that's going to be trouble for any team in the WNBA. It's already hard for a lot of teams to score in the 90s, but now you have to score 95 or more to beat the Aces at this moment. And no one's scoring that many points every game. So that is definitely something that I know the league is definitely going to be. All of the coaches are definitely going to be in the film room for days before they play the Aces to see how you can stop them. Because at this point, Jackie Young, at this point, is the MVP in the league right now, averaging roughly 23 points a game. Uh, she's a good defender. She is a very good passer. So at this point, the Aces have what could possibly be the 2023 WNBA MVP on their roster at the moment. Might I add, they have the 2022 WNBA MVP as well. The turnovers, LA had 19, Vegas had 11. So Vegas definitely cut down on their turnovers that they've been having in the first few games. I want to say that was probably because that is definitely something that Becky Hammond put into their minds at practice on taking care of the ball. Um, but I'm not sure what happened to LA from the game plan that they had a couple days before Saturday. Um, NECA, now NECA came back for this game. She was healthy, so she played this game. In the previous game, Shanae Ogumake had the primary defense on Asia Wilson, and she did a very good job with getting her frustrated in the first half. She wasn't really contributing that much in the first half, and now this game, Asia took over from the get go. So definitely the defense was some for some reason different than the previous game, which I'm not sure if that was what they wanted or maybe it was because it was the Aces' first home game. It was their ring ceremony. They were in their emotions and they played an intense ball game. And they pretty much continue to show that if you're going to win the championship, you definitely got to go through them. So, yeah, we knew the Aces were going to be good this season, and they're showing it these first three games. I think they will continue to show it throughout this season, but I want to see what the other teams, because still to me, LA is still a team that is definitely going to make a push for the rest of the season to be in a category for one of those top teams, and they are. They've shown it in the previous games. It was just this last game was not one of them. On Sunday, we had uh, we had a couple very good evenly matched games. We'll start with Indiana versus Atlanta, two very evenly matched teams. Very good game between these two teams. They both fought hard. I mean, they're both young squads, so they were scrappy. They were smart. They wasn't too crazy with the ball. Both teams, the turnover wise, was what and what. Indiana had 13, Atlanta had 12. Indiana did out rebound them drastically, 43 to 29, and that is definitely what helped them win that game. The game was 90 to 87, so they definitely fought hard. Smith has been having a very good year so far. She had a good off season. She played in I think it's Athletes United or something like that. She had a very good season with that organization, and I definitely think it helped her coming into this WNBA season. She's much more confident. She's shooting the ball with confidence. She's making the right plays, whether it's shooting the ball or passing the ball. So I think she is very much coming into her own player, and that is very good for Indiana with such a young squad there. I think that is a huge bright spot for them. With Atlanta, you had Ryan Howard did her thing. She had 23 points. They all they all pretty much contributed. Gray, Howard, and Cheyenne Parker, along with Nas Hillman, um, all scored in double digits. They did a very good job. It was definitely a very tough, hard fought battle between two evenly matched teams, and I like to see it. Even though both teams are definitely struggling, it was it was a very good game to watch. Indiana got their first win, and I believe 20 games. So that's a plus. That's a plus. Obviously, they still have a lot to work on, and I'm pretty sure they'll keep working and building on this win, which I can't wait to see. But both teams, Indiana and Atlanta, are both 1-2 in the season. So we'll see what these young players got to bring to the league. The other evenly matched game that I really liked was Dallas Wings versus Chicago Sky. Two teams that are also they're partially young. Most of their players are between 4 years, 6 years being in the league, and they are scrappy. Both teams can score. Both teams play defense. Both teams are well coached, and it was a very good game coming out 94 to 88 with Chicago on top, which makes Chicago 3-1 in the season, and Dallas 2-1 in the season. Agumawale had 27 points. Marina Mabry is showing up. Like she played amazing in that game. Um, it was a very tough game. Uh, Turnover wise, Chicago had 18 to Dallas's 10. But rebound wise, Chicago was 44 to 33. And I think that rebounding is definitely what helped them a lot in this game because of those turnovers. The rebounds kind of counteracted that, especially with them having Dallas had 23 defensive rebounds to their and 9 offensive rebounds, and what was it? Chicago had 15 offensive rebounds, which 15 offensive rebounds out of those 15, 13 of them got them with second chance points. So Dallas has to be better with the rebounding and boxing out in the paint, which they usually are. I think just because of how fast both of these teams move up and down the floor, can sometimes a game can get away from you. The ball's bouncing off the rim at different times, different areas and speeds. It's definitely these two teams were really good to watch. I really enjoy watching the games on Sunday. Uh, the next game we had was the Aces played again, a back-to-back games. They played the Minnesota Lynx, and Minnesota has one bright spot to me, and that's Diamond Miller, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But the way she plays with confidence. Um, she has the full trust of Coach Reeves, and it shows. It really shows. She wasn't backing down from anything. She played amazing defense when she went up against Candace Parker, Asia Wilson. She didn't back down, and that's very good thing that you want to see in rookies. Jackie Young, like I said, yeah, she has been so far one of the best players on the best team. To be the best player on one of the best teams with a team that's full of stars. Um, because Vegas is. They're full of stars, and any given night, one of those stars can have a game. But when it came to this game against the Minnesota Lynx, Young had 23, Kelsey Plum had 11, Chelsea Gray had 19, Asia Wilson had 21, and Alicia Clark coming off the bench had 11. That's huge. That is balanced scoring that you want every team to have. And they had that night, and it showed with a 94-73 win. Um, Turnovers for both teams were very, very well. Vegas had 10, Minnesota had 13. So that was really, really good for both teams to see them taking care of the ball. So it was both teams was playing good defense, good half court defense, and both teams played very good half court offense. I mean, Minnesota scored 73 points. That's that's nothing to be ashamed about. You scored 73 points. The only issue is that the team across from you they have shooters, they have playmakers. Everyone who's on the court at that time is a playmaker. So it's kind of hard to know who to stop because there's really no one to stop. So Minnesota has some things that they still need to work on, obviously. Um, they got some production out of their bench. Their bench gave them, I want to say, 18 points, which isn't bad, with two of the bench players not even scoring. So that will be something that I'm pretty sure their coach will. You just need to get them in the gym and getting them more playing time, obviously. But so far, the WNBA season has been very fun to watch. It's been very fun to see what teams will come out on top. Some surprising, some not so. Um, So as this season continues, I hope every team gets better and not get stagnant, which we all know can happen roughly the mid season. Um, Teams can get stagnant and then they'll drop off and then come back. So this is a huge opportunity this season. I believe is for every team to get progressively better throughout the season. I know some people would not want the Aces to get progressively better, but that's just how the game goes. Once everyone is starting to get their legs under them, it's going to happen. But I definitely cannot wait to see some of those teams that have a very, very bright future to get that second win and just continue to progress throughout the season. And the end of this season, I believe, will be one to remember. So stick with me, stay with me through this season. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys got anything that you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comment section. Peace, love, happiness.